Why would we even have podcasts? That is the most brain dead take ever. Dude, what they took was a personal attack from you. They thought, well, if he's saying this stuff, this is messing with our money. When someone doesn't like a thing, or really it's the messing with their money stuff, they'll just attack a different point or say a different point.
And we've talked about this off like camera or whatever, but it's like you never see the losers in the Amazon space. If someone who has lost their Amazon business and is in massive debt, like, I'm really sorry. If you want to come on the podcast and share, you're more than welcome to.
And anytime somebody is wrong in your life, you can kind of just put that little thing. That's what I do. Every time somebody's wrong, okay, are they an idiot or are they lying to me? Because lying is really bad, because then you're like, okay, this person's really trying to, screw me over. But if they're just an idiot, maybe they can be educated.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Side Hustle Experiment podcast. Today we're doing a solo episode. We got lots to talk about. So what's going on, man?
Nothing much. But you sent me that yesterday. We'll just get right into it, because someone was on here and they asked, you guys get a lot of haters. And I was like, me, but John doesn't really get any. And then you sent me that and I was like, oh, somebody's talking shit about me. Nope. They're talking shit about you. How's that feel?
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Someone sent it to me and I was like, that's definitely interesting. I guess my first thoughts were, it's like, well, you put stuff out there, it's bound to happen. Yeah, I've never really been like on the side of that. So it was just super interesting to kind of be on the other side of it. So yeah, I was kind of like, interesting.
Yeah, I've been with that since I've been on social media. No, there's nothing crazy. It's not like we're having that much like beef or hate or whatever, but it's just part of it. And I have so much to say about it, but I don't know if you want to talk first on it or you want me to talk first. I want to hear kind of your thoughts on the whole thing, and then I'll give my...
Yeah, so we'll just go back and forth. So basically, just for context, another podcast, they didn't mention my name, so I'm not going to mention their name. Basically, there was a reel that I posted on my Instagram about Amazon, basically no longer needing third-party sellers. It was more of just like a theory. They took it as the gospel, which is weird in itself. And basically, they decided to talk about it on their podcast, saying that it was basically a take that a 7-year-old with an underdeveloped brain would do, and the take was super dumb. And they went on for about...
When he said that, it was harsh. The way they said it was very harsh. I don't want to interrupt too much, but because we're not going to promote this shit, because I don't want them to go watch their shit, and it's a waste of your all's time to watch it anyways. But we'll get to that later. But anyways, it was way harsher than like I expected. To be honest, but go ahead.
Agreed. And that's kind of how I took it. And for me personally, when it came down to that, it was like, okay, that's dumb. I guess like one of my things, like, okay, so number one, check the box, because the was supposed to be to kind of create something like this or conversation. You guys could go find the reel on my Instagram page. You'll know what we're talking about. All the comments agreed. Like, I'm super open. Like, all right, like, whatever. Like, if you don't like it or you think I'm an idiot, like, say it. Like, I don't care. Like, two, it's a theory, it's a hot take. Like, I understand why they did what they did, because it's like good to kind of, it's an easy slam dunk, right? Like, you've come on here, be like, oh, I saw someone like tweet this, like, this is why this is so dumb. And maybe for us, we didn't share the other side either, so fair enough. Like, that's the content game that we're in. And I just thought it was really interesting that I almost would argue the opposite, that they almost have like the 7-year-old temper tantrum over the thing. Like, I don't know. And kind of the overarching thing was basically, I am a disgruntled seller who Amazon screwed me over. I just have sour grapes. And to be very clear, I never got a Section 3. The gates never affected my business. A year ago, I started the Amazon Influencer Program. I was like, wow, this is amazing. I really like this a lot. I continue to sell on Amazon. And in the Goals podcast we did, I wanted 90% of my income to not be from OA. And I am basically at that point right now. And that's where we are. I'm not disgruntled about it. I'm not bitter towards Amazon. I still think it's a good opportunity for the right person. But for me, I'm just doubling down on content and the influencer program. And there's just so much that I kind of just I don't know. It's weird. And it was so one-sided. I think that's my biggest beef about it. There was no
Yeah.
validity to like, yeah, maybe there is something there, right? So, and the other thing that got to me is it was just like, yeah, we don't need any more predictions or opinions in the Amazon space.
That was telling.
But
That was very important to
but
notice.
I'm sure the opinion of Amazon is the best thing ever is a good opinion or an okay opinion to have.
Yeah, dude. That was one of the things I was going to talk about. But since you bring that up, that was like one of the most important parts said on there was like that what we're done. I'm done with predictions, done with all this stuff. It's like worthless and everything. Well, like just base. That's the baseless part. It's like, dude, the world runs on that shit. Like if you didn't predict things or figure out what's going on, why would we have elections? Why would we have a betting market? Why would we even have podcasts? Like, well, that is the most brain dead take ever. But this all boils down to like a core point, and then I'll talk about a bunch of stuff. But all these people do not see these things as we're like telling people that Amazon might be a risk or we're saying there's better opportunities, whatever. They don't see it that way. And I know that because I see it on Twitter and I see them write it out. And I see these two old fucks just go off about stupid stuff on their podcast. Like, dude, what they took was a personal attack from you. They thought, well, if he's saying this stuff, this is messing with our money. Because if you are out there as an influencer and you're trying to do that stuff, you are directly taking from their pockets because they're not sellers. Because if you notice, the sellers don't really get mad. They just go, well, these guys are wrong, whatever. Like we just had Steven on who does 7.5 million a year. I'm sitting there telling him, yeah, just there's all these risks. He's like, yeah, whatever, dude. I do 7.5 million a year. He's not personally butthurt about it. So these guys, they are directly attacked by what you're saying because all their money comes from courses. And then the irony, dude, of them saying, well, he doesn't sell, he's disgruntled. You motherfuckers don't sell. What are you talking about? We know stuff about you, everyone. Like we know you don't sell. Post your sales. You do probably 5-10K a month max. Like we know people that know you, dude. Like that's what gets me with this stuff too, is like these people are like openly hypocritical because they don't know what we know about them. I mean, come
I
on.
never even thought
You're
about
gonna
it
sit
from
here and fire. That's like really throwing rocks in a glass house there.
yeah, I never really thought of it that way as like, oh, you know, him saying this takes money out of our pocket. Like I didn't really now that you say that, I mean, I guess that makes sense.
You are.
It kind of puts like a spin on it as well. Um but yeah, it was just like super interesting and I mean, I don't know. I guess like again, like I'm not gonna try to like compare stats or anything like that. So I'm not reading about it. I don't listen to the podcast. I don't have much context. It was actually sent to me. Um, but it was just like I don't even know how to explain it. It was more just like this is why he is so wrong. And I get it. Like that's fine. Like I feel like they came at me like pretty hard and that's
They did.
fine. Like that's I don't know. It just in my head, kind of your what you were saying. It's like, why'd you take this so personally?
Yeah,
Like
dude. That
if I saw that and I saw someone like you have a hot take, you say, "Oh, the Amazon influencer program is so stupid." But like you're stupid. Swipe. Like maybe we talk about it here. Like I don't know, but like not for freaking 15 minutes. And I think the funny part is it's just like all these like little things, and we'll get into that later. Where as we go, it's like these little snippets that feel like the outsider who knows nothing about Amazon's like, oh yeah, that's a good point. Oh yeah, that's a good point. Oh yeah, that's a good point. But if you actually know about Amazon and like kind of the inner workings and kind of, you know, the people we talk to after this podcast, kind of some of the stuff they say, you'll understand like it just sounds like one of the points they made. It's like, yeah, Amazon's not going to get rid of third party sellers because of the antitrust lawsuits they have going on and all this
that's a
other stuff.
prediction, by the
And
way.
I was just like, okay, like maybe that's not true, but I think that's your prediction because there's no solid knowledge of that. And two, they kick people off the platform every day or regate them. Like we did the podcast with Sadiq. And I think that is the other thing too. Like you could throw all the shade you want at me, but you want to go through our podcast and look at everything. We have Amazon sellers on here. We don't, I
Most
mean, we have gotten feedback. Yeah, we bash Amazon or whatever, but we're just telling the truth. And that was one of the hard hitting things in the beginning of the podcast. He's like, well, he doesn't sell anything. So, like, I don't know why he would personally have this take. And I can have that take because I don't sell anything. I don't have software. I don't do coaching. I don't have a leads list. I don't offer services. I'm just calling it how it is. This is what I am seeing. Like you could say I mean, I guess if you look at it too, it's just like, okay, does Amazon want, just looking at the history, the last year, let's just take, you need 100 to 400 items to Ungate something. Now to sell on Amazon, you got to go through the interview process. It's so much more in depth. They're regating people left and right. There are section threes. There was never section threes. It's supposedly people been selling on Amazon for 15 years. The last 2 years, there's section threes. People are getting kicked off. Like, it's like, does that seem like they want more third party sellers?
You know,
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm just
yeah, obviously not. Like their argument too of this, like the trust law thing, dude. It's just like a complete straw man. Like it just, I noticed this on Twitter a lot, and this is just what these people do too. When someone doesn't like a thing, or really it's the messing with their money stuff, they'll just attack a different point or say a different point. Like this is how Soros always goes at me all the time. And I can't wait to have him on to talk about this again. But Soros is like popping off on me on Twitter. But I'm like, dude, you're not really talking about my point. You're just saying like, well, all businesses do this, or like I'm an outlier, so it's okay. And like there can be outliers, but like it's kind of just irrelevant. Like the points I'm making isn't just like no one should sell on Amazon or like leave now. I said get off now to make it the engagement. It worked. And also I was just saying that because I've talked to hundreds of people that just started selling on Amazon in the last, 2 years or so. And I'm like, at the spot you're in, there's no point in you keep going because you're just burning money. You're burning money. And like this is getting more difficult as you get poorer. And this is just not working out. And I've outlined all these points on Twitter. I say on the podcast, there's like so much stuff of us saying this stuff. But people don't care about that, dude. All they care about is their own thing. And like if you guys are not aware of what I'm talking about exactly here, look up cognitive dissonance. And it's like I wrote it down here. I'll tell you the definition. You guys can look into this. It's a psychological term referring to the mental discomfort experienced when holding conflicted beliefs or attitudes, or when behaviors contradicts one's beliefs. The discomfort motivates individuals to reduce the tension by changing their attitude, beliefs, or behavior, or by rationalizing the inconsistency. A big example of this is, let's say the CEO and owner of Tyson Chicken is asked, well, what are you doing to these chickens? You guys are inhumane to them, all these different things about chicken. And they're like, well, no, people need the chicken and we deal with it in a very humane way. And they just are completely ignorant of the fact that they shove all these things in coops or whatever. And then we all really don't care because we like chicken. So we all have this cognitive dissonance of like, I don't really care how this chicken gets on my plate. It doesn't really matter to me, although it's probably a really horrible process. I'm not some PETA guy. I'm just giving that as an example. I love chicken and I don't really care. But that's what's happening with them. Because it's like if they admit that you could be right in any sense, then their money is just, that's bad. Because then people are going to be like, oh man, these guys are right. And they all just feel personally attacked by that, which is like the core problem of all these people that go back at me and go back at John. I don't mind for people to disagree with me. That's not the problem. But these attacks just get personal. Like they clearly were trying to make John out to be like, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's just an idiot and disgruntled seller. And it's like, dude, that's not what John's saying. He's not sitting here saying like, you guys are idiots for this, even though like you guys are way more likely to be personal attack than us because we don't sell anything. We don't try to sell 48 courses a year like you guys do. Okay. We sit down here and we talk to random people. So I don't know, dude. It just kind of, and I don't even fully agree with that clip that you said either. Like, I'm not even on the side of agree. I don't think Amazon's kicking people off because they've made their money, but that's not even the point. They still are kicking people off. The overall point is right. So I'm not going to sit here and like disagree with it or whatever.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess on the front end of it, it said like Amazon sellers or Amazon no longer needs third party sellers. Like that was the headline, and that was the headline. So people like click on it. Like, do I really think that they're going to get rid of them? No. And I think if you watch the clip back, I never said that we're getting rid of them. I was like, here's my theory. Here's what I've seen. And I think that was kind of my biggest, I guess, gripe in a sense. And we've talked about this off like camera or whatever, but it's like you never see the losers in the Amazon space. Like, I mean, if someone who has lost their Amazon business and is in massive debt, like, I'm really sorry. If you want to come on the podcast and share, you're more than welcome to. But someone who was on this podcast, I sort of posted a story the other day that he was just like, Yeah, he's running like a really successful service business outside of Amazon, and he has 80 grand worth of Amazon debt. Before we get into that, if you could just take 1 second, like this video, we would greatly appreciate it. It really helps get this out to more people, and that will allow us to get better guests for you guys. And if you are feeling extra generous, leave a comment what you like about it or tag us on social. Thanks so much. Now let's get back to the episode. He's just trying to pay off because Amazon stranded his inventory. It got stuck. He can't get it back. You just see this all the time, and it's like, I'm in the Facebook groups, like I see all this stuff too, and the sentiment is just, oh, and I'm like tired of all these like little tiny facts or whatever. It's like, oh, if you could just get the 0.01% of this category, like you could be a millionaire. Or it's like, if you go on Keepa and search this and that, there's over 2-3 million products that Amazon's not on and that you could sell. It's just like, yeah, sure. I mean, I guess on the surface level that sounds good, but it's kind of not the reality of the situation.
No, it's not. And like, I don't know, man. That stuff, it just gets to me because it's like, so it's almost like there's just no self-awareness in what happens. And I had someone, I was talking to somebody yesterday or 2 days ago on the phone, and this was before that happened with you, but I was just like, man, can you believe all these people go at me on Twitter like that? Like they really, you can just feel that they care about it and stuff. I'm like, that it's so weird. And he's like, yeah, I can't believe they post that from a public doxed profile. Like I wouldn't want to act like that if I had like a face on my thing. Like I'm not gonna sit there and just like feel so personally attacked by something somebody just randomly tweeted that I'm gonna say something about it. Especially, and I'm not gonna act bad, which on Twitter they weren't even that bad. They were just kind of attacking whatever. These people were attacking you, but it's like, man, it just makes you look so immature and like weak, really. Just
Petty, really.
Like what's your motive here? Like what would be your motive of, especially all the little things that it's like, what's the, I don't know. I don't see the point of all that, but I know what it is. They feel personally attacked. Like that clip wasn't for the audience. You didn't make that clip of the podcast. That was against them. They know, they like thought that, that's how they viewed it, was like, oh, he's talking bad about us, even though you weren't even talking at all about them. But that's how they would view it, because that messes with their money. Which,
that's a really good point too, because it's like, if you took, I feel like the context would change so much if I personally made that reel. Like it's me in front of the camera. Like it's obviously there's 3 of us on the screen and we're just talking. And obviously there's probably more context to that conversation or whatever. But even if it's not, I was just like, wow, like it came hard. And it was just, I don't know. It just, there was no, we have people on here all the time. And even when we do talk about, ways to make money, we push back on each other. I wouldn't say this podcast is one-sided. We had on Sadiq. Steven does business 7 million. We're like, whoa, dude, like that's amazing. Like you're doing awesome things. Like, yeah, it is possible to do this kind of stuff or whatever. Like, here's why we're doing what we're doing. So like, go watch that, because that's the last podcast episode, if we release these in order correctly. And yeah, it was just a conversation where it's like, why do you think this is happening in reselling? Why do you think they're gating? And I was just like, well, here's like my theory. And they just took it like, I was like, they're not having third-party sellers anymore. I was like, dude, it was just a conversation on a podcast.
Yeah, and I hate to just go into the personal attacks too, but this is just how I view everything, where I know someone's wrong. And they're objectively like wrong about this stuff, of how all these regulations are popping up from Amazon. The fees are going up. Like clearly, whether your premise was right or not, this is just happening. It's not like this is not happening. Okay, the argument should be why it's happening and why it's positive. Okay, that might be better. Like Steven said, it's better for the older sellers. Okay, that's a fair argument. That's a good counterpoint. But to say it's not happening is just wrong. So either you're lying to people and you come from a place of being like evil and trying to misconstrue what's going on, or you're just an idiot because you don't see what's going on. And anytime somebody is wrong in your life, you can kind of just put that little thing. That's what I do. Every time somebody's wrong, I'm like, okay, are they an idiot or are they lying to me? Because lying is really bad, because then you're like, okay, this person's really trying to, screw me over. But if they're just an idiot, maybe they can be educated. Maybe they have something that's clouding their judgment. But overall, if they're wrong, it's one of those two things. So that's what I see when I see those people. It's just like, are they idiots or are they lying? Well, I'm not under the personal belief that they are idiots. So
No,
what's the
definitely
thing
not.
left? Like, they can't just be so dumb they don't see this happening like that. That's just impossible. So there is some aspect of lying to inflate the opportunity and inflate, you pay me, you're going to get rich type of thing, which is fine. I'm not anti-info, but when you start personally attacking people to make your stuff better, then that's when I'm like, okay, that's enough of that.
Yeah, and like I guess to be fair, sure, like on its is Amazon if you want to take it for what it's worth, which is kind of ridiculous to do that in this world because like we live in a social media world and nothing on the surface level is what it really is. To be like Amazon is not having third party sellers anymore. Sure. Is that true? No, it's not true. But it was more like the context of the message is like, well, all this bad shit is happening. Why do you think this is happening to them? And then the argument was made that do you really think Amazon with Walmart on their heels is just going to roll over and not do that? So my counterpoint to that would be like if Amazon really wants to keep sellers and keep Walmart away, why would they be regating people? Why are they making it harder to sell on the platform?
Yeah.
Right? Like
It's
that would
a
be that's why wouldn't they lower fees? Like if you don't go to Walmart, if you only sell on our platform, here are your new fees. You can sell Nike, you can sell Adidas, you could sell this, you could sell that. We want to work with you because that's what it seems like Walmart's doing. Everyone has personal reps. Like it doesn't seem like there's a lot of issues with gating and this and that. It just seems easier. So I don't know. It seems like that's the counter argument. It's just like if they were trying to compete with them, like why are they doing what they're doing? Because it doesn't look like that.
Yeah, and the big thing, and I've outlined this before, is I believe that Amazon is getting rid of third party sellers slowly. And it's not they're getting rid of third party sellers. They're just getting rid of people who may be breaking the rules in some way. And they're squeezing out the people who are taking advantage of things that brands don't want to take advantage of. Like this is the key of this. I said this like a year and a half ago or whatever on this pod or the happy hour or something. Like Shopify is huge. They do tons and tons of revenue. And Amazon needs to take that market share because it's very easy for them to do that. They already have the traffic. The ad stuff is already built into Amazon. When you have people that sell stuff off the clearance aisle, you sell this stuff. Okay, I understand that that's the only way for them to get this $100 Neutrogena thing, the example they gave or whatever. But the facts lay there that all of these beauty brands are shutting people from selling their stuff. All these other brands stopping people from selling their stuff. It's not, they're not just being mean to sellers or whatever. They're trying to protect these brands because there's such a dilution of brands everywhere. You have to keep the big brands on your platform. You don't want that revenue going to different places. And you want those big brands want to keep growing. And they can't afford negative reviews because some kid bought Neutrogena off DHgate and sent it to Amazon. This isn't what Amazon's came out and said, but this is just obvious. Like, do the math in your head. That's obviously what's happening here. And the reason that's happening, and the reason I don't know how these guys can't understand it, this is just like market cycles. The market is getting more mature. So they have to put more regulations on. It's the same thing that's happened with like YouTube over time. Back in the day on YouTube, you could post like anything you wanted. Now there's censorship stuff. You can't post certain things. Remember during the vaccine that you weren't even allowed to talk about it. But that's all because of ad revenue, because they don't want the ads to stop paying them, these companies to stop paying them for ads. So if you have bad stuff on the platform, it's like, okay, well, these companies are afraid to put ads on your platform. This is just like market maturation cycles. And this is just what Amazon's going through. And it's not going to be a cycle where it reverses unless Amazon just drops in revenue. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And that is all probably complex. And I'm going on so many rants here, but this stuff is just frustrating to me because people just miss like the entire thing. They just can't even look at it objectively. They just get so, I don't know what it is, personally attacked or something. It's like, dude, why do you think we're out here lying to people? Do you think I give a shit if you sell on Amazon? I don't care what you do. I'm just telling you my experience personally and everyone I've talked to over the last 2 years. Yes, I've talked to the biggest sellers on Amazon and I've talked to people who have failed and gotten $50,000 in debt. Okay. My conclusion is that they are making it very hard for people. And a lot of the smaller sellers, basically all of them just get wiped out. And I just say, be cautious of that. If that's your dream to go sell on Amazon, go sell. Okay. But If it messes up, if it's bad, at least you know I told you so. And there's not just dudes trying to sell you courses all the time. That's my big takeaway from this.
Yeah, and I think like in a broader sense as well, like this is the Side Hustle Experiment podcast. This isn't the We Love Amazon podcast. Our goal here is like just to figure out like how to help you guys make money. Only reason me particularly, everyone always is DMing me like, what are some other options besides Amazon? Like I'm getting killed. Like, are you going to Walmart? Like, are you looking at Target? Are you looking at Best Buy? Are you looking at Etsy? Like these people are asking me, so I'm like, all right, like let's try to get an Etsy seller on. Let's try to get like a personal branding person on. Let's try to get an Airbnb. Like we're just trying to like really help you guys out, and we're talking about I guess our experience or my experience, people who DM me's experience. If I think might have been the Sadiq podcast. Someone left a comment. Oh, my 90% of my inventory is Nike, and they just regated me. Like, what am I gonna do? I don't know. Like, I was just like, I don't know. Try to liquidate it. Like, I'm really sorry to hear that. That sucks. Maybe try to liquidate it. I don't know. Maybe you get ungated again. Like, I don't really know. But it almost to me is like, if you did watch that, I would say the takeaway was like, none of this is happening. Like, everything is great in Amazon world. Everything's rosy. It's just as good as it's always been. Um, and it's going to continue to be good.
Yeah. Yeah. I think another problem, I don't know, they didn't say this obviously because they don't sell, which is like another hugely ironic point on this, but which maybe they do. Maybe I'm missing something, but I've never seen any proof. Okay. And maybe I've seen proof to the contrary. You never know. But when some people go out, like when Soros and like those two type of dudes go at me, I do think I'm like, well, that's a little more value there because Soros is like killing it on Amazon and stuff. But also
Sure.
the fact if you're killing it or not is kind of irrelevant. Like that's not the point. Is not that what if I never stopped Amazon? What if I still have a side one that I'm doing 500K a month with, and I just wanted to act like I quit? It's irrelevant what I'm saying. It doesn't even matter. I'm just saying points. I'm not talking about my what's happening with my business right now. So it doesn't matter. But these like outlier examples, they don't really do anything. And then people are like, well, this guy's doing 20 million a year still on there. It's just, it doesn't matter. That's not even relevant to the point at all. It's about, what the average person is experiencing and what are the facts in front of your face. Not, well, this one dude does this, so you can do it. Okay, dude. Well, then me and you need to get ready for the NBA because we can do it. But the reality is we can't because Victor Wembanyama is in the NBA. He's 7'5" and he has a 40-inch vertical. Okay, I could make it to the NBA. There's some white dude my size in the NBA, I'm sure. Peyton Pritchard or somebody. But the reality of me making there is super, super low. You might have a higher chance on Amazon, yeah. But you just pull in these outliers and be like, well, anyone can do it. It's just irrelevant. It doesn't even matter. It's not even pertinent at all to the situation. So that kills me too. They didn't really do that stuff. But, that's what the attack that I get all the time. It's like, well, all these people are killing it. You just don't know any better. Okay, man.
Yeah, I think that's probably maybe more my issue with the message as well, where because I do think, and again, like I've always been a proponent of like do what works for you, and whatever is working, do more of that, and that's kind of how I've always run my business, um, and kind of where I am right now. And I think where it gets for me, yes, is it possible to do millions of dollars on Amazon? Of course. But like maybe 1% of the people who ever start selling on Amazon ever get there, maybe less. But I think there's probably a lot of people on the fence. Should I continue? Should I not continue? Or in debt? Or they're like, oh, and then they get this message like, no, keep going. Like, only like if you don't
It's your
quit,
fault. That's the thing. It's
yeah,
your
if you
problem.
don't quit, it's going to be fine. There's so many other brands out there. Uh, don't listen to these disgruntled people. Um, and I think you just have to make the decision for yourself, like, and just make the best decision you can. And I feel like they painted me out to be this disgruntled seller who got screwed over, and I was just like, no, like I kind of just saw some things I didn't like, looked at some other opportunities, really liked the other opportunities I saw, and kind of spending majority of my time doing that. Like, it's that simple. Like, and I'm just that side hustle experience. We talk about the experience, like what we're
And
doing. Like, I don't know, like how else to do that. Like, if we were actually probably if we were smart, we would be doing the same thing. When we first started the podcast, we'd be like, don't talk shit about Amazon. We're just gonna sell mentorship. And
yeah,
we're just
dude.
gonna hammer, 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 hammer. Get on people like Steven. Be like, you could be the next Steven. You could be the
Yeah.
next Sadiq. Like, what's going on. That's what it is. It's like this like magic. It's just like, yeah, like this is what's going on, but like we have the answer to that. Don't worry about that. Like, it's gonna be fine. And I would be doing the same thing too. So I'm not gonna say, I don't
Well,
know,
I
to
would
the
I
extent,
wouldn't be
but
doing
no, I
personally.
actually wouldn't. I
I,
just
I wouldn't do it because I think one person that a lot of people should model their success after, and a lot of people don't like this guy, but Miles, he never really talks bad about people. You notice, like, you'd think he would have. I was talking to somebody about this the other day. How does he not have way more hate? Now, he does have hate videos. He has people that hate him and stuff, but how does he not have way more hate? Because that guy is like such a big deal. And it's because he doesn't interact with that stuff. He doesn't really
mm,
care what other people thinks because he knows, well, I'm going to get my money and I'm going to help people the way I help people. I don't really care what you say. So when I go with this stuff, I notice Miles never really replies to me ever. He never really says anything about this stuff. It's because he doesn't really care about what I have to say. He's just like, whatever, like it's irrelevant to what I'm doing. And those guys, yeah, they're like pushing. I don't care that they even. I'm not saying don't argue with me and John. Okay, maybe we are idiots, and you
mm,
should just argue with us. But all those personal attacks, that's what made this thing like piss me off. Is I'm just like, that's just like nuts that you would do that. So I think that they should probably take a page out of Miles' book, especially because he's like half their age and making like 5 times the money. So maybe do that. But that and doesn't get I don't know, it's just all a bit frustrating, but it gives us something to talk about, which is fun. And then, I don't want it to come off ironic that we're just like hating on these people or not. But like the only reason that we're even talking about this, well, personally, I want to talk about it is because they just went at you personally and they
yeah,
didn't say your name or whatever. But like, dude, they gave so much context that they might as well have said your name. I
yeah,
knew
and
exactly. I
that's
thought
like,
it was going to be about me, and I was like, oh, that's not about me instantly.
and I think there's a time and a place. It's like, I mean, I guess you could argue the same thing. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff out there on Twitter, especially, or Instagram that I see. I'm just like, yeah, I don't really buy that. But I don't like bring it to this podcast and be like, yeah, sounds like they're having a meltdown like a 7-year-old with an undeveloped brain. I'm like, okay, like, right? Like, interesting.
What's
Um,
crazy too is that they kind of like know you and stuff.
I
Like
don't
that's a
know
little
if
weird.
he really does. I
Okay,
mean,
that's
I don't
fair.
know.
I thought they
Regardless, I don't know. When you when you look for more context before kind of going on like a rant like that, or just be like, huh, I don't know. It just I don't know how to explain it. It was just, I guess maybe I've never been on the other side of it, I guess. And maybe I'm wrong. Like, whatever, you could take what
Yeah,
you
you guys
want.
leave us in the comments. Are me and John the idiots here, or are they the idiots? Or no, not
I don't
that.
want to say anyone's
Who in this
idiot.
situation? Let's say there's a box here. Let's say it's me and John on two. Like picture this little graph from school. Me and John on two, and then those guys on two. And then there's a box for idiots, and there's a box for lying. And you try to put us in these boxes, or do we fit in any of the boxes, or do they? Or do they have a crossover between lying and idiots? You let us know what you think, because maybe me and you are the ones that are have the cognitive dissonance or whatever. I don't know how we would because we don't even do things, together. We don't do any of the same businesses and we don't sell any of the same stuff. So we really have no ulterior motive, literally at all, which is funny because those guys kind of said that, but it's like, it's the irony stacks, dude. You pay attention in life, irony just stacks up. But yeah, you guys let us know. Do you think we're the idiots or the liars, or do you think they are one of the two? Because I'm just curious what other people's thoughts are.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of where I lie as well. And yeah, I don't really know what else to say about it. It was just kind of
35 minutes
interesting.
of ranting.
Yeah.
But
I
there's a
mean,
lot to talk about. But that's not, it's not just about that. I think the things we've said here, there's lots of like takeaways. Um, and if you really pay attention to this stuff and you're like, whatever, I don't really care about this like Amazon drama or whatever, which I really definitely don't care about. But, you know, you're my friend. So I don't like when people attack my friends. I wouldn't even have addressed it if somebody was talking about me. I'd have just been like, whatever, those guys, think whatever. But you gotta take care of people. But yeah, there's just these lessons will like go across different businesses and life in general, really. Which I'm 26 years old. I'm not some kind of wise 50-year-old man, but I do think I know a decent amount for my age. And you can tell based on what they said and, that the whole thing that's happened, you can take that into other things in your life. You can see how that plays out in different stuff. So even if you don't really care about the Amazon thing and you're like, dude, will these guys shut the hell up? Listen, it applies in other stuff and it applies in other markets too. People hear me on all the time talk about market cycles. I've even had gripes about the influencer program at the TikTok shop. Like I shit on every business, but
Yeah.
it's just because I'm pointing holes in these things like they're like blatantly obvious to me. Now, when they will take place, I don't know, but all these things do have little holes in them. It's just Amazon's shown those holes like way, way faster with the OA and the RA stuff. But if you can recognize those patterns, you can position yourself better for opportunities. And that's, exactly how I got into this crypto situation. And I'm not personally attached to the crypto. If somebody tells me crypto's stupid or whatever, I'll be like, yeah, dude, it is stupid. And it is like a big gambling type thing. But I recognize the opportunity. The opportunity won't be here long. I'm going to try to take advantage of it right now. So if you learn anything from all this, that's another thing. It's just, you can take these patterns and take them into other things in your life if you have pattern recognition skills.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely agree with you there. And yeah, it is what it is. And I guess for their argument, yeah, I would agree. So I'll agree with them a little bit that, yeah, they're not getting rid of him, third party sellers anytime soon. And yeah, they want to be, a place where people could buy everything, and that would be Amazon. But that still doesn't negate the fact that they're making it extremely difficult for sellers to prosper on that platform, to grow their businesses. And I think that's my bigger beef. It's just, I don't know, there's just no awareness. And I get it. Like, if you're doing a business, you only want to hear the positive, right? And that's probably why people who sell only on Amazon probably don't listen to this podcast, because they don't want to hear that some of the other stuff. Like, and you always hear online, like, surround yourself with the positives. But to be honest, if you're spending 50, 60, 70, $80,000 a month, $100,000 a month, I kind of want to know some of the downsides, or like what's going on, or like, is this getting harder? Is this getting better? Like, why are they gaining all these brands? And again, I think that was my biggest, not my biggest, but at the end of the day, if you break down their rant, it's just a big prediction the other way.
Yeah. Another point on this stuff that I just now remember. I'm kind of like a harsh truth type of dude. That's kind of like how I am. Not on social media, just in real life too. I just kind of don't pussyfoot around stuff. I just want to tell people the truth, whether it's good or bad. And a lot of people don't like that out of me because I think that they think that I'm like a hater or I'm like bitter or whatever, all the stuff that they called you kind of. But that's what a lot of people view me as, I think, at times. But it's really never from that position. Like when I'm telling somebody the truth like that, I'm not trying to hurt their feelings. I'm not trying to mess with their money. I'm not trying to do anything like that. I'm trying to do it out of like care. Of like, man, I care about like the future of what happens to you. This isn't like a selfish thing. The selfish part of me will be if I'm right, I save you from something bad, and then you'd be like, dude, thank you. You were right. I appreciate that. That's my selfishness from it. If I'm wrong, whatever. But then you look at this other side of stuff where, everything's positive, everything's okay. You just got to fight through it. And there's a time and place for that. There's a time where it's like you got to grind, the Hormozy stuff of like, I don't really care. You just got to keep pushing forward. There's a huge aspect to that mentally. But when you just look at what's laid out for you and then just blatantly deny the bad things that are happening and just say it's all positive, that can like really, really hurt people financially and really hurt people emotionally. I mean, that can ruin people's families. That like there was someone, I'm barely going to go into any detail because I don't really want to talk about it too much, but there was someone that I'd talked to that was in really big debt from Amazon. He was splitting up with his wife and she had took the kids from him. This type of thing because he couldn't make the Amazon thing work. And when he talked to me, the language he was using wasn't even his language. He was using language of different Instagram and YouTube and tweets. He was just basically spitting all these things that he hears on Twitter and Instagram and YouTube and stuff. Yeah, dude, his mentality is great. He was wanting to pay me. He was like doing everything he could to pay me. And I'm like, I'm not going to take your money. Like, dude, I cannot do this. You've got to get your life together. Like this, that you're not going to come out of the other side of this as some, great knight that has conquered things. You're going to lose like everything, and you're going to look back and blame it on all this stuff. And this is what happens if you watch any of the CoffeeZilla and you watch the Spencer Cornelia and those guys. I think sometimes those guys are dorks and they kind of are too much on the hating side, but they interview real people who lose money to this stuff like constantly. And if you watch that and you're just like, whatever, that's a personal problem with every single one of those people, then you're just out of your mind. Because a lot of times on the other side of that, those people get sued and those people lose millions of dollars that try to push that message down people's throat. So there's a lot of personal accountability. I'm not even trying to drop the personal accountability thing because I think that's one of the most important things in life is that you can be, personally accountable to your actions and stuff like that. And you try to stay positive so you can keep going. But when you shove that down people's throat and you ignore things, it's just extremely disingenuous and it's dangerous, but you just don't care because you're just taking their money and you're just like, whatever, I'll get a better house. I'll get a better car. I'll be able to do this. I'll be able to do that. And I respect it, but you just better know what's on the other side of it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I feel like that's like kind of in a nutshell. And yeah, it's just very interesting. When someone sent me that, I was like, oh, interesting.
Yeah, that is funny. Yeah, I love 40 minutes of it. What else is new though? We won't talk about this anymore. Although I'm so wound up about it, man. Well, you know what? I'm happy. I'm like happy that happened because we haven't had something that we can fiery talk about on a podcast in a long time. Because kind of all we do is this podcast and we just interview people, and I feel like that's kind of all we do. But getting fired up about something, that's fun. I remember back when the Nike Gates initially started, not the recent wave, but the one before that. That we were talking about that was a very viewed episode. I was like, that's fun because then we get to talk about this stuff. So
I will say that too. I think if I've learned anything from this, it was just basically like, and we've talked about this with Crazy Flipping Mom. It's just like, you know what? Like when you strike a chord like this, there's definitely like some truth to it. Cause like where you don't like hit the chord, like no one cares about it. And for me, I was just like, I hate controversy, and obviously I think you like it. But for me, I was like, oh wow, like never been in this situation before. And like I really watched through it and I was like, huh. Like, is this valid? Is like should I have said what I said or whatever? And I was like, I don't know. It just to me it just seemed like an Instagram hot take. And I was like, whatever. You could either believe that or don't believe it, or I don't know. Like I never really even thought the side that you said before about, maybe it's digging into their pockets, basically like me saying this, but I didn't say it to do that. I was just like, hey, like this is just a theory that I have. And just kind of put it out there. And I think that's where I've gone lately, where I guess I like see it in groups on Facebook and then it just populates more, which is interesting. But it seems like people are like getting really hurt.
Yeah.
Yelling on Amazon. And it's just kind of like, I don't know. I'm not going to sit there and like peddle it. And I think it's a great business model for some people. For other people, I think a lot of these people are on the fence. Like literally word for word, these posts are like, yeah, with everything going on, I think I have to like close up shop. I got gated in, 5 or 10 brands that I sell the most. The margins are tighter. I don't know if this is for me anymore. And I mean, I think that's like a harsh reality of it. And the answer is just, oh, like push through, find more things, like do this. I mean, I guess that's good for some people. And, you have to do that. Like I've definitely pushed through. And, when I was selling books and I get a warehouse and they're like, no more FBA books, like I decided to merchant fulfill. I made that choice and I made it work. And I think that's important. Like if you have to make it work, and you were saying that Hermosi actually was listening to some the other day. It's like you need to know when to push or when to pivot. And the reasons to pivot are basically the landscape of the business. Like, are you stuck because you can't figure something out and you need to figure that out and push through? Or is just kind of the things not lining up into your favor and it makes sense to pivot? And that's kind of how I think about it. Like for some people, like the bigger people we have on here, it makes no sense for them to look at other opportunities. Like we talked to Sadiq a long time after this, and it was like he's just like, yeah, I don't know any other model right now that could kind of produce what's Amazon is for me. And we're like, yeah, like right, we're not like, oh, like they're gonna take you down. Like we're like, no, dude, like if this works for you, like go for it. Like Steven, he's like, not worried about anything. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna crush
He's
it.
like,
I'm gonna
why are
do
you not selling?
10-15 million dollars this year. Like, okay. And we were like, we weren't like, oh, that's so stupid. Like that's not gonna happen. We're like, good for you, dude. Like that's amazing.
Yeah, people have a lot of trouble, I think, in general, of like thinking about stuff in the gray area. It's just black or white of like, well, these guys said this, so they believe this, and then they're wrong because I believe in the white and they believe in the black. It's like that. It's never like that. It's always like a gray area, and no points are ever concrete. It's not like you said all Amazon's getting rid of all sellers or something like that. That's just a super black and white take of that. Like that's not at all. That's no context given to the situation, which is just like a really dumb thing to do. And maybe that's just the short form nature. I doubt they watched the podcast. So maybe there was more context to their dumb shit. So maybe we're the ones that are equally as dumb in return, but I don't think there was. I watched a lot of it. Just seemed like anger. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. What else can we talk about here? We have to get off this. We're at 45 minutes.
Yeah. What else is going on with you?
What's the next thing? Well, I did my crypto calculations on my profits yesterday, which is pretty good.
Right.
It's difficult because it's hard to like positively calculate it just on Coinbase. There's apps that do it. It's still difficult because there's fees. You think Amazon has fees? Crypto has so many fees because you can adjust your fees to pay for like to buy coins. Like you can pay $50 to buy the coin, or you can pay 5 cents. It's gonna change your transaction speed. So you kind of determine a lot of your fees, and these platforms take like a flat 1% fee or whatever off every transaction. So you spend 100 grand, they'll take a flat $1,000. So that makes it difficult as well. But overall, I looked at like the incoming deposits to my bank and the outbound of what I made, months and months ago. And I'm like 15, 17 grand in profit, which is kind of unbelievable. And the
Wow.
return on it's almost a 100% return because I was down like almost 20K. That it's not exactly that. It's probably like 18K, 17K. I was down that at one point, and now I'm up, 12, 16K after recovering the 18. So I'm like, I'm almost at a 2X ROI on the money I've spent there, which is cool. Makes me feel like I'm getting way more consistent overall. And then the market comes back in waves. Like I just made money on the Trump thing. I don't know if you saw that yesterday, but the meme coin, yeah. If you're a top 220 holder, you get dinner with Trump, which that costs about. Yesterday it was 300 grand. I would assume today it's closer to $1 million. But if you own $1 million of Trump, you get to go to dinner with him. So the price went from like $9 per Trump coin up to $16 at the top, which that's not even a 2X, but that coin is massive. That coin's bigger than a lot of companies. It's 9 billion to 15 billion. And I just blasted in like 7 grand at 12 billion and then sold most of it at like 14.8. So almost the top. And I made like the quickest $1,600 or whatever of my life. I was like, within 10 minutes, I was up $1,600, which is nice. Then you withdraw that. But yeah, it's been going good. And I think recognizing that stuff, I'm just getting better at it. But I'm fighting through, that's what they tell me.
Yeah, I mean it's actually, I don't know if you probably didn't see this on Twitter, but there is like Twitter is just wild right now. But there was actually someone who basically I think is trading. I don't know, they just said they were a trader. And then basically, you know, to be a top trader or whatever, he tells this story about how his mom like baked him cookies and brownies. And since he's so disciplined and wants to be a top trader, he said that if he ate a cookie or a brownie, he would not be a top trader. um, and that is you have to be disciplined.
Yeah.
And people are like quote tweeting it like all over the place.
That's probably rage bait, to be fair.
Probably.
That's what I'm trying to do out here. But I mean, that's just a ridiculous thing. But I did not see that. No, I wonder who it was that said that. That's a pretty good tweet. That's a pretty good
Yeah, I thought, I was like, oh, like that's interesting, and like, yeah, I probably got what he wanted.
Yeah,
sharing it all around, which is
he probably has a trading course. It worked out.
Maybe, who knows?
How's your stuff going? You rich?
Stuff is going good. The influencer program is going really good. I feel like it's starting to pick up. Like it was not slow, but now it just, I don't know. It's just I'm just have a certain amount of videos or just picking up steam. Like everything on all fronts is just going well. I'm going to an Airbnb this weekend to do more videos for that, getting more brand deals, which is great. Gonna get more into like UGC. Um, and yeah, just kind of just grinding it out. And I think it's a very similar situation to kind of what I was just in now that I think about it, because there is so much negativity about the Amazon influencer program too in the Facebook groups, and it's going downhill, and it's not what it used to be. I'm not really experiencing that. Um so yeah, I guess it's all just kind of like perspective as well. So I mean, I guess you got to like take that stuff with a grain of salt. Like, is this really happening in my business? Does the outlook look like this? And for me, it hasn't really been that way. Um and I just think, yeah, the amount of work that I'm putting into it is just gonna pay off, and it's just gonna keep going. Um, but yeah, it's going good.
Yeah, there's always negativity in all like spaces too. I'm not I'm not surprised, and there is a counter of like, well, the disgruntled people are the people that are more negative. I think that is largely what happens in all this stuff. Because if you ever get on like forums on the internet and stuff, they just think everything's a scam. So yeah, there's a certain amount of, they call it FUD in crypto, of like fear and something else, but it's when you're just saying something's bad just for no reason. Uh, but that happens a lot online, and that's probably what happens to that influencer stuff. But there's like, I don't know, maybe there's somebody who, the problem with that one is there's just no risk except for your time. So
Yeah,
to say that's bad, I don't know.
yeah. I mean, I think what you're saying, like, and I don't know, it just popped in my head, but like with the disgruntled one, I think, I mean, whatever. It's the world we live in today. It's like very polarizing, but it's like maybe I'm not disgruntled. Maybe I just changed my mind, right?
Yeah,
Like, you could look through this whole YouTube channel. I was very bullish on Amazon for, I don't know, 3-4 years. And not to say I'm not bullish now. I'm just doing something else that makes me happier. It just works better for me. I'm spending, I don't know, 95% of my time on that. And I think that's fine to change your mind um, on things as maybe your life changes or other things develop or other opportunities pop up. And I think, yeah, you can change your mind.
yeah, and you can learn new stuff, and like, it don't always take personal experience directly into like these decisions. I think it's good to see all perspectives of it and kind of take an objective viewpoint. Not just like, well, it's good for me or it's bad for me. That's a bigger part of it. I
I,
guess we covered so much of that stuff in this pod. I can't even think of anything but it, but that's whatever.
I was gonna say for you, so I guess maybe for other people, so you were down like 15K in crypto. What made you push through and be like, all right, this is still a good idea? Because we've definitely had conversations like, dude, I think this is cooked. Like, this is over. And then
Yeah.
like the next day you're like, it's not as cooked. And then you're like, now we're back.
Well, the factor of like luck in it, and just the amount of time you can spend that increases your luck. Like I see stories all the time on Twitter, and I know people that have made like over a mil in just a few, not even like a few week or a few month period. And I know it can like all come really, really fast. I know that in all of life. So I just knew crypto is like life times 10, because everything's faster. The money moves faster. There's way more opportunity. So it was just like a big decision, I guess, in February or so, or was probably when I was really thinking about, I'm like, am I like sunk cost fallacy in this, where I'm like, I've lost so much that I've got to keep going and keep losing, or do I need to just switch the thing, go to something else? And I just realized that, you have to keep going. If my thesis hasn't changed, I mean, it's the fastest way to make money on the internet. There's no faster way, because just the way that it all works, and there's so much money flowing around, the percentage gains, that type of thing. There's nothing anywhere else. That's why you see all these guys get rich in crypto in a year and become millionaires. And I think that I could just do it. I think with enough time that will happen. And now I can see actual feedback of me getting better. And there's just certain things I have to get over mentally, and I'll be able to do it. I mean, I could have already been a millionaire like 5 times over. I've fumbled millions. I've fumbled like $45 million at this point. So I just need to capture like one of them, and it'll work. Like one thing goes right. Like sometimes I'll buy something and then go to sleep on it. Like this is a perfect example. I put in like 280 or $300 into a coin, 100K market cap, and I went to sleep. I woke up and it was at like 1.2 million. It hit some of my cells and I had made like 14 salon on it, which was like at the time, I don't know, like $1,700. Well, over the course of the next few days and weeks, not even, maybe it was 2 weeks, that same coin went to 20 mil. And I had $300 in at 100K. That's a 200X. That is what, 60 grand. So I fumbled 60 grand on that, where if I could have just put it in there and just not even looked at it and just was like, okay, I'll check it in a week and a half. I like this thing. I'd have just had 60K. So those things will happen like over time. And I think that that's why I've stayed so positive about it. And everybody I show it to, I've just had a lot of people quit like that I've showed it to. So I'm just like, okay, they've quit this stuff. And if I can keep pushing it, I'll become really good. And there's the interviews in the crypto space are dope too. Like they're way more, I don't know. In the Amazon thing, you can get away with lying a lot because you really don't have to say how much you've sold. You can lie about how much you've sold. You can lie about your profits. You can claim someone else doesn't sell when yourself doesn't sell. That stuff, crazy stuff like that happens all the time. But you can just kind of bullshit around when you're talking about like business because there's no proof of it. But on the blockchain, everything is logged there. So you can see, okay, this guy literally made X amount of money. Like it's not a lie. If anything, the only other possibility is that he's made more because we can publicly say this made this. And I watched an interview the other day of a guy that he's a little younger than me, I guess. A lot of these guys are anonymous, but they'll talk. And he's made $25 million in the last year, trading the same way I'm trading, not even anything special. Like he's fast, trades hundreds of tokens a day. He's made $25 million. And you know that because one, he said it, but also you can go check his wallet and there's $200,000 deposits to Coinbase every few weeks. And there's been like, whatever the math is on that, like 13 of them or whatever. He's made, or more than that, 130, whatever it is. And he was like, dude, you just got to keep going. He was like, I've lost a bunch of money. I only started with like a few grand, but really you don't need to make the millions. You don't even have to do that. If you just make 10 SOL a day, or at this point it's like 7, you make $1,000 a day. And that's like so easy because you can put $300 into something. It goes up a 4X, which happens every 2 seconds on there, and you'll make $1,000. It's just, you can't lose it all. You can't gamble it all away when you get it, which is, my biggest problem with what I've had so far. But I'm getting better at it now because every time I make X amount, I'll just deposit it and take it away. I don't keep it in there to keep trading, which is, that's what Soros was talking about. He's like, well, if you see the P&L, it's probably time to sell. I'm like, bro, I've already sold. Like that's realized P&L in my bank.
That makes a lot of sense too, because then you like take a risk off the table.
Yeah,
or
completely.
money off the table. You could always put it back in, I guess, if you wanted to. But yeah, I mean, I think that's really cool that, to be down 15K and now kind of turning it all around to be up 15, 16K and kind of like stick with it and kind of, I don't know, have your
and no insider stuff. Like I've not been told any plays. I don't know anybody. I'm always on here. I'm not the networking guy, so I know some people now, but it's not like they've helped me. They haven't gave me some call that's went up 30X and I made a bunch of money on it. I just kind of talk. But I don't have a big Twitter on there. I just do it all solo myself, which makes it like 50,000 times harder. That's a place you definitely should be networking because it's directly correlated with how much money you're going to make if you get insider information and that type of stuff. But, I just haven't done that. So for me to do that, it does make me feel like pretty proud unless I blow it all, which I can't even blow it all because I'm already in the profit in my bank. So I've already made money. It's irrelevant now. If anything, now I'm just wasting my time if I lose it all, which I don't think I will. I think eventually I'll get on here and I'll have a decent story of how much I've made, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, that would be, so basically there are people, I guess, that would basically like get in a group and be like, yo, we're buying this.
Yeah, all the time. That's all crypto is. Yeah, okay. It's all like, especially these meme coins specifically, you're just trading attention. Well, I mean, basically all of it, you're trading attention. It's just like Bitcoin has by far the most attention, so it stays really high. But then there's all these other little meme coins that's like, is it the runner of the day? Is it something that's, like Chill Guy? That was a big thing for a long time. Went to like 3 billion market cap. You could have bought that at nothing. Yeah, you could bought it at 10K, 50K. And how much mind share would that take up over a long period of time? Well, now no one even uses that meme anymore, so it's just dead. Same with Peanut. Peanut the squirrel, that was like the most talked about thing in the country, and then it goes away. And Doge, that's the meme coin, but it stayed so high because Elon talked about it so much back, 6 years ago. And now we have a government department called Doge. So that always is like staying high. So that's kind of like how all this stuff works, is like trading attention. And if you're like, well, what does it do? What is it? Nothing. It's all bullshit. It's all gambling in that sense. It's just all air. But, people pay you for it. You just are trying to sell it to someone dumber than you. That's kind of the whole thesis.
Yeah, shit, that's awesome though.
Yeah. What else, man? We're at about an hour. We ranted for about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't have anything else.
Let's close it out. That's good. Short and sweet.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Let us know what you think in the comments. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Peace.
Peace. If you enjoyed this episode and know someone else that would enjoy this episode, if you could send them this episode, literally just copy and paste a link, send them on Instagram DM. Everyone loves to network. This is a great way to do it, a very easy way. It helps grow the podcast and get better guests. So the more the podcast gets shared, the more views we get, the better guests we could get for you. We would really, really appreciate it. And tag us on social media and we will share it as well.